How did one young actor completely change what it means to be a leading man in Hollywood?
We're talking about Timothée Chalamet, the guy who made being sensitive the new cool.
He took vulnerability and turned it into his superpower, becoming the face of a new kind of masculinity.
But his journey wasn't an overnight success story. It's a tale of auditions, small roles, and one game-changing film that catapulted him into a global phenomenon. So, where did it all begin for Timmy?
He was born and raised in New York City, in an apartment in Hell's Kitchen, a neighborhood with a lot of history. His family was full of artists. His mom, Nicole Flender, was a Broadway dancer and now works in real estate. His dad, Mark Chalamet, is an editor for UNICEF and is originally from France. This mix of American and French culture gave Timothée a unique perspective from a young age. He even speaks fluent French, which you can sometimes hear in his interviews.
He also has an older sister, Pauline, who is also an actress.
Clearly, performing was in their blood. Growing up, Timothée wasn't immediately set on acting. He loved soccer and even coached kids in the sport.
But his creative side was always there. He attended Ferrello H.
LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts, a famous school where other stars like Al Pacino and Jennifer Aniston also went. It was here that he really started to fall in love with acting.
He said that his drama teacher at LaGuardia was a huge inspiration. He wasn't just learning lines.
He was learning how to connect with emotions and tell a story. For a school project, he even rapped about statistics under the name Lil Timmy Tim.
Yes, you can find the video online, and it's as amazing as it sounds. His early career was filled with the usual steps for a young actor, commercials and short films. His first TV appearance was in an episode of Law and Order back in 2009.
A classic start for any New York actor. He then landed a recurring role in the show Homeland, playing the rebellious son of the vice president. People started to notice him.
He had a certain intensity, a way of showing deep feelings without saying much. He also had a small but memorable part in the huge sci-fi movie Interstellar, playing Matthew McConaughey's son.
He thought this was going to be his big break.
He even saw the movie multiple times in theaters, but the major roles didn't come flooding in right away. He spent the next few years doing a mix of theater and independent films.
This period was tough.
He auditioned for big roles, including Spider-Man, but didn't get them.
He has talked about feeling a bit lost during this time, wondering if he'd ever get that one part that would change everything.
He kept working, sharpening his skills, and waiting for the right opportunity.
He knew he wanted to do meaningful work, to be in films that mattered.
This commitment to his craft, even when things were slow, is a huge part of his story.
It shows that success isn't just about talent.
It's also about patience and not giving up.
Then, 2017 happened.
And it was a year that changed his life forever. 2 films he starred in were released, and they couldn't have been more different.
First, there was Lady Bird, directed by Greta Gerwig. He played Kyle, a cool, pretentious high school musician. He was magnetic and kind of annoying, and audiences loved him. He captured that specific type of guy perfectly. But the real game changer was Call Me By Your Name. In this beautiful film set in Italy, he played Elio, a teenager who falls in love for the first time. His performance was simply stunning. He showed Elio's joy, confusion, and heartbreak with so much honesty.
The final scene of the movie, where he just stares into a fireplace with tears in his eyes, is unforgettable.
It's a masterclass in acting without words. This role earned him an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. At just 22 years old, he was one of the youngest nominees ever in that category.
Suddenly, everyone knew who Timothée Chalamet was. He wasn't just another young actor.
He was a serious talent, a star in the making.
The world had discovered what his early teachers and directors saw in him, a rare ability to be completely open and vulnerable on screen.
So, after Call Me By Your Name, Timothée Chalamet became one of the most in-demand actors in the world. But instead of just taking any big-budget role, he made some really interesting choices. He worked with great directors on unique projects.
He played a struggling young man in Beautiful Boy, showing a very different, darker side of his acting.
This role earned him more award nominations and proved he had serious range.
Then he reunited with Greta Gerwig for Little Women, playing Laurie, the charming boy next door. He brought a modern energy to the classic character that audiences adored.
It seemed like he could do anything.
He even took on the challenge of playing a king in The King on Netflix. To prepare, he had to learn how to sword fight and deliver powerful speeches.
And then came the big one, June. This was his first massive blockbuster where he was the main character.
He played Paul Atreides, a young hero with a huge destiny. The movie was a gigantic hit, and it proved that he could lead a huge franchise. People loved his thoughtful and intense take on the character. He wasn't just a tough action hero.
He was a complex, thinking hero.
And of course, the second part of Dune was an even bigger success, solidifying him as a true global superstar.
What's really special about Timothée is his style. On the red carpet, he's known for taking risks.
He's worn hoodies, harnesses, and sparkling suits. He plays with fashion and doesn't stick to the traditional rules for men.
This has made him a fashion icon. He shows that masculinity isn't just one thing. It can be soft, it can be artistic, and it can be whatever you want it to be. This attitude, both in his film roles and his personal style, is why so many people connect with him.
He represents a new generation that is more open and less afraid to be different.
From an unknown actor to a global superstar, Timothée Chalamet's career has been incredible to watch.
All this success has, of course, translated into financial success as well. As of 2024, his net worth is estimated to be around $25 million.
That's a huge number, especially for someone still in his 20s. Most of this comes from his movie salaries. For his early indie films, he would have made a smaller amount, but for blockbusters like Dune and its sequel, he commanded millions. For Wonka, it was reported he earned around $9 million.
Besides his movie roles, he's also a brand ambassador.
He's the face of a major fragrance for Chanel, which is a huge deal and comes with a very big paycheck.
These brand deals add a lot to his net worth. But what's interesting is that he's very selective about these partnerships.
He doesn't just promote anything. He chooses brands that align with his own image and style.
He's building a brand that's about quality and artistry, not just making quick money. As his fame continues to grow with each new film, his net worth is only expected to climb higher. It's the result of years of hard work, smart choices, and undeniable talent.
So, what is it about Timothée Chalamet that has captured everyone's attention?
It's more than just his talent or his cheekbones. He represents a shift in what we look for in a movie star.
For decades, the ideal leading man was often tough, silent, and muscular. Think of the classic action heroes. But Timothée is different. He's slender, thoughtful, and he's not afraid to show emotion. He can cry on screen and it doesn't make him seem weak.
It makes him seem human.
He brought a sensitivity to his roles that many people, especially younger audiences, were craving. In Call Me By Your Name, his portrayal of first love and heartbreak was so raw and real.
In Beautiful Boy, he showed the painful reality of addiction. Even as a SCAFI hero in Dune, his character's biggest strengths are his mind and his empathy. He's not just punching his way through problems.
This is the new masculinity he represents. It's a masculinity that is inclusive, emotional, and complex.
It says that men don't have to fit into a narrow box. They can be vulnerable, they can be artistic, and they can be sensitive. This has had a huge impact on Hollywood and beyond. We're seeing more stories and characters that explore these different sides of being a man. Directors and writers are more willing to create male characters who are emotionally open.
And other young actors are inspired by his path, seeing that you don't have to be a traditional tough guy to be a leading man.
He's also a bridge between art house films and huge blockbusters. He uses his stardom from movies like Dune to get people interested in smaller, more personal films.
He's a movie star in the old-fashioned sense, but with a completely modern sensibility.
He's proven that sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's a strength. And in doing so, he hasn't just built a career, he's helped change the culture.
From here, the sky's the limit.
He's playing Bob Dylan in an upcoming biopic, a role that will require him to sing and capture the spirit of a music legend.
It's another brave choice that will surely push him as an actor. Timothée Chalamet's journey is a reminder that the most powerful thing an artist can do is be themselves. He brought his unique energy to Hollywood and didn't change to fit in. Instead, Hollywood changed around him.
He made sensitivity cool, vulnerability powerful, and in doing so, became the movie star of his generation.
And if you want to dive deeper into the stories of other actors who broke the mold, we have a whole playlist dedicated to Hollywood game changers. You can find it right here.
It's full of amazing stories you won't want to miss.
Thanks for watching.